Today, I want to talk about a topic that often comes up in discussions about Islam. Is it correct to say convert or revert? Let's discuss this in some detail. But for those who are new to my channel, my name is Dr. Zalaya Keskin, and I am a lecturer in Islamic spirituality at Isra Academy and Charles Sturt University. Now, when someone embraces Islam, you might hear them described as a convert, someone who has accepted a new religion, or a revert, someone returning to their original state of faith. But what's the difference, and why do we even have two terms for the very same thing? Why is this distinction important to some Muslims? At this point, please put into the comments which term you think is more appropriate, convert or revert, and why you think one or the other, or is there another term which you think is more appropriate? Let's start by understanding the definitions, because the definitions are important. Now, convert simply means changing from one belief system to another. So if a person was Christian and they became Muslim, they have basically converted from Christianity to Islam. Or if they were Buddhist and then they became Muslim, they converted from Buddhism to Islam, and so on. So you understand the pattern that I'm showing. Now, revert, on the other hand, implies returning to a previous state or condition. And in the context of what we're talking about, a person has reverted back to their original state of being a Muslim. That is, a Christian has reverted back to being a Muslim, or a Buddhist has reverted back to being a Muslim. We'll talk more about this, but it's also important to define Muslim, because it does matter in the context of our discussion. Now, a Muslim is a follower of the religion Islam, someone who has accepted Islam as their religion. But there is another meaning to Muslim, and this is where it gets interesting. Someone who submits to Allah. Now, taslim is to submit. It's a verb. And Muslim is the one who has submitted to Allah, which is the noun of the word. Now that we have defined convert, revert, and Muslim, let's look at a hadith which is often used as a justification for using the term revert. The hadith states, every child is born upon the fitrah, but their parents make them a Jew, a Christian, or a Magian. Now, you would have noticed that I did not translate one of the words in the hadith into English, and that is the word fitrah. And this is the critical word in the hadith, because it is this word that leads some people to use the term revert. Now, fitrah means true nature, innate disposition, which means that we are born with a natural disposition, and that natural disposition is to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to worship Allah. That is, this hadith emphasizes that every human being is born with this innate connection to Allah, a natural inclination to submit to Him. However, as the hadith continues, it explains that a child's environment, including their parents and upbringing, shapes their belief system and religious identity. Now, you will sometimes find this hadith translated as, every child is born a Muslim. But this is inaccurate. In the original Arabic, the hadith is كل إنسان تلده أمه على الفطرة. It does not say Musliman, it says al-fitra. Translating the hadith as every child is born a Muslim is not exactly correct. But you can understand why some do translate it as every child is born as a Muslim, because the fitra is inclined towards Islam. But it's still technically incorrect to translate it this way. So when someone embraces Islam later in life, some believe they are returning to this original pure state, which is the state of belief, the fitrah. This is why the term revert is often used, as it reflects this return to the natural disposition of recognizing and worshipping Allah. But what about the term convert? Why is it also widely used? The term convert is straightforward. It describes a person's transition from one religion or belief system to another. In this sense, it's a clear and practical term that communicates a significant transformation that has taken in a person's life. Many people who embrace Islam prefer the term convert because it highlights their personal journey. because it is a significant part of their life journey. The conscious decision to research, reflect, and ultimately accept Islam and to become a Muslim. It recognizes the effort and intentionality behind their spiritual transformation. Then those who do prefer Revert, it is because it emphasizes the idea of returning to one's true nature and reconnecting with the Creator. It's a reminder that Islam isn't something entirely new. Rather, it's a continuation. It's a continuation of a deep, innate relationship we all have with Allah. This perspective can be empowering for new Muslims, reminding them that Islam is not a foreign concept, but rather a rediscovery of their spiritual roots. Then there are others who don't really have a preference. They don't really mind whether it's convert or revert, but they simply want to use the term that most accurately reflects this significant change. I am of the view that convert is the more accurate term to use, because while someone is inclined towards Islam as a newborn, you only become a Muslim at an age of maturity when you consciously embrace Islam by choice and willingly. And this decision is a conscious decision that is made based on believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and believing that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger of Allah. It's a conscious decision. This decision brings with it a whole lot of other beliefs that are embraced, such as the Quran being the word of Allah, that there is life after death, and that the angels exist, and so on. These beliefs do not exist in a newborn. Although, as the Hadith mentions, there is a natural inclination within us to believe and accept all these matters of faith, they are just their inclinations. They have not become a reality yet. Now, I want to provide a hadith to further support my point about convert being the right term. When Amr ibn al-As wanted to become Muslim, he said to the Prophet ﷺ, I will not pledge allegiance to you, O Messenger of Allah, that is, I will not become Muslim until you forgive my previous sins. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said to him, O Amr, do you not know that Islam wipes out whatever sins came before it? The Prophet ﷺ did not say, Islam was always part of you, O Amr, or you were always a Muslim. He is clearly separating the life of Amr radiallahu anh before Islam and after he consciously and willingly embraced Islam. Having said all this, I don't think we should get stuck on words too much because, as you can see, both revert and convert have merit for their use. And so both are being used widely in the Muslim community. The main purpose I made this video is to provide you some insight into why these two terms exist. But I do believe that convert is the more accurate word to use.